What's going on YouTube? So Jeep has long been famous for models such as the Grand Cherokee and Wrangler. However, for those of you who don't need the space or the hardcore capability, there is another Jeep, and that is the Compass. This compact crossover offers the rugged nature and utility of its bigger siblings in a smaller package. And for 2022, Jeep has also sharpened up the looks, added new technology, and made it more appealing than ever. So is this the right size Jeep for you? Let's go ahead and find out. So right as soon as you walk up to this refreshed Compass, you can really tell that Jeep has worked to make this look a lot more aggressive, as well as a lot more modern and sleek. So up here in the front, you've of course got that signature 7-slot grille, but the bigger adjustments have been made to this lower fascia. So Jeep modified this whole look to make things a lot more aggressive looking. You've got this mesh trim, and then your upper trim levels will also come with the silver along the bottom as well. The grille itself has been slimmed down, which blends nicely with these brand new LED headlights. So you actually have standard LED headlights on every single version of the Compass. However, this model with the Elite package is going to come with the bi-function LED headlights, and then you've got the daytime running light and turn signal running across the top, and we also have premium LED fog lamps mounted right here in the middle. And as we move around to the side, you'll see that premium vibe continue because we have very nice wheels. So this is actually our top most wheel option. It's going to be a 19-inch alloy. It comes in the Elite package on the limited trim level. And as you can see, these look really nice. I love how many spokes you have and the gray color contrast finish. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of other wheel choices that go down an inch per trim level until you get to 16 inches on the base Sport model. You have some blacked out Compass badging right here. And then as far as your mirrors are concerned, all the models are going to have standard heating as well as standard blind spot monitoring.
Now at the side, you can tell that this is not a very big vehicle, as you would expect out of this segment. So we're looking at 173.4 inches in length, which does place it right in between the Crosstrek and the Kia Seltos. And for this fully loaded model, I do want to point out just a few nice elements that you have. You have all the body color moldings. We also have this nice silver accent on the roof rail. And then coming around to the rear design, the Compass really hasn't changed a ton back here. They have, of course, done a few nice elements for this refreshed model, but let's go ahead and break down that design. So up here in the middle, we have our nice Jeep branding. I also like the touch of the chrome piece going all the way through the entire body here. That's a nice touch that you see in stuff like the Grand Cherokee L and a Wagoneer. And then as far as these taillights are concerned, since we do have the limited trim, they're calling these LED. The accenting itself is LED. However, you're still looking at an incandescent brake light as well as incandescent reverse light. If we drop down to the lower areas, as you can see, we do have an exposed exhaust outlet. That's going to be only on this fully loaded limited trim level. Now for your safety systems, the Compass doesn't throw in every single one of them as standard equipment. However, even on the very base model, you will get 2 out of 4. So that's going to be your forward emergency braking as well as your lane keeping assist. Now furthermore, as you go up the trim levels, you will unlock additional features like auto high beam headlamps. And then if you go for the top end Trailhawk or limited trim levels, that will throw in your adaptive cruise control. Now additionally, as far as your warranties are concerned, you're going to have a 3-year, 36,000 mile basic warranty, 5-year, 60,000 mile powertrain warranty, and you're also going to be enrolled in Jeep's WAVE program, which will throw in 3 years of complimentary maintenance. But guys, that's going to wrap up our exterior design for this refresh model. Of course, it does look quite a bit nicer than it did before, but now let's go ahead and check out the inside. I know they've done a lot in there, and then we'll take it out in a spin.
So on the 2022 Compass, you are going to find a standard smart entry system. As you can see, we do have the older Jeep key fob, but you will find remote start on the Latitude Lux and the limited trim levels as standard equipment. And to get inside, just reach behind the handle and a sensor will unlock the door. This right here is where the bigger news than the exterior lies, and that's because this interior has really been completely ground up redesigned. There's very few elements that remain from the last model year as far as this interior is concerned. Now I'll go ahead and hop inside and shut the door up. And let's go ahead and talk about our different interior color and material choices. So there's quite a number of them. We have cloth seating for your base sport trim level. You have a leatherette on the Latitude. And then the other trim levels will come with leather seating, such as this one. However, we have on this limited trim level the highest end equipment group, which is going to be the Elite. That gets us the premium leather, so it has a perforation, you know, a nicer feel to it. You do have the Jeep embroidering in it. And we have the choice between black or gray. As you can see, we do have the black seats, but we do still have the gray contrast throughout the rest of the cabin. And looking at the door trim, as I was just mentioning, we have the gray leather that runs across through there. We do have the color contrast stitching detail. You have the piano black detailing up there. Silver door handle. And then over here on this side, you will actually find the 2-person memory seating, but pretty rare for this class. That's included as part of that Elite group. And then you have one-touch auto up and down for your driver and your passenger windows. As far as the seats themselves, they're going to be 6-way manual on the very base model, 8-way power adjusting on all the rest, including this model. Let's go ahead and talk about the material choices, because like I was mentioning, big enhancements this year, definitely a lot more of a premium space. So across the upper dash, this is going to be a soft touch plastic with a double stitching detail. As we drop down, we have this nice looking single vent design. We have a big section here of leatherette with, again, color contrast stitching. And then we have kind of a silvery looking faux wood trim. It looks really nice in person. I don't know what it is trying to mimic exactly, but it looks really nice in person. And then finally you got some piano black trim down here. It is going to be hard touch along the outside edges, but everything feels a lot more solid than the pre-refresh model. And then to start up, put your foot on the brake and press the button. Now, one of the recent additions to the Jeep lineup has been this 10.25-inch full digital gauge cluster. I first saw it in the Wagoneer as well as the Grand Cherokee, and I'm happy to see that it has made its way to the Compass as well. This, of course, is not on all the models. It is going to be reserved for your limited and your Trailhawk trim levels. Nevertheless, it's a very nice looking display, and just like in the other Jeep models, you can press this little button on the steering wheel and cycle between a bunch of different designs. Now, pulling back here to the steering wheel, we do have the updated Jeep steering wheel with the updated logo as well. Nice thickness to it, leather wrapped with the color contrast stitching as well. Of course, the wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping across the lineup, and it is heated on this model as well. But let's go ahead and take a look next at interior storage. So first of all, I do want to point out this is adjustable, so you can slide this back and forth if you are a short person. And then taking a look inside of the console itself, it's a little tight. Obviously, this is a pretty small class of vehicle, so this is about what I expect to see. There is a felt lining at the bottom, but it's time to put it to the test. We got the Burger King coupons. So it's got a little bit of an odd shape, but it looks like as I push them down, it kind of slides that direction. They are going to fit. It's going to take a little bit of folding is all. We got some 2 deep cup holders right there, and then we have this really deep storage bin up here in the front. You can hardly see the bottom of it. I guess that would be good for a cell phone, and then you also have 2 USB ports as well. And one of the few elements I actually recognize from the previous model is the shifter. The housing around it is a little bit different, but the actual operation is the same. You're just going to pull back for drive. You can bump over here to the left if you want to shift manually. And then heading into reverse, we do have a standard backup camera with active trajectory. As you can see, it looks really nice on this large display. And then we also have a parking sensor visualization over here and the gauge cluster. And then right next to that, you have your electronic parking brake. You also have the 4-wheel drive lock button right there, and you have some drive modes right there that you can cycle between with that little toggle. Now, as far as your climate controls are concerned, you have a single zone automatic standard on the Sport through the Latitude Lux, and then we have the dual zone automatic setup here with this model. As you can see, you're just going to adjust the temperatures very simply with these large sized buttons right there. You have your main controls right here. You have additional controls up here in the display itself. One of those controls, or two of those controls rather, is going to be your seat and your steering wheel. So that's where you turn on and off your steering wheel heating. You can turn on and off your steering wheel or your heated seats. And then we also have ventilated seats. That's included with this Elite package. And that's obviously something you do not see very often in this category of vehicle. Okay, so let's return back down here to this control area because I still have not turned on the audio system yet. Obviously, on a really top-end model like what we have today, we're going to have the upgraded Alpine 9-speaker sound system. Let's go ahead and give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality is excellent, as you'd expect, and especially if you like bass, this is a really nice sounding sound system. Okay, so now let's talk about what is one of the most important upgrades from 2021, and that is this whole area with the display. So if you remember previously, we had a display that's kind of integrated into the dash. Now it's a floating display. Additionally, it is a lot larger. So this is a 10.1 inch display, and it is running the newest Uconnect 5.0 software. So that has some advantages. Obviously, as you'd expect, it's going to be a lot faster in the overall performance. The graphics on this, I will say, are top notch, really lovely looking. I especially like how deep black everything is in the system. On this specific example, we do have the integrated navigation system as well. And then one of the benefits with the Uconnect 5 is that you have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay as standard equipment. And finishing up the front of the interior here, we do have an auto dimming mirror. It does not have the universal remotes built into it. We've got incandescent lighting. And then up here at the very top, we don't have a sunroof on this specific example. However, one is available on every single trim level except for the base model as an option.
Well guys, here we are in the Compass rear seat. As you can tell by just looking at it, there is a lot of space, which is something pretty rare for this segment of vehicle. Let's talk about those legroom figures first. We have 38.3 inches of legroom, 38.5 inches of headroom, which does place it right on par with that of the Kia Seltos. It is even larger than the Subaru Crosstrek. You're looking at a lot of space. I mean, this is a very big vehicle for its segment. It really just kind of depends on what you compare it to. Behind Drew's seating position, we're looking at probably 4 inches of legroom. Drew is 5'8", I'm 5'9", and I can fit my feet easily up underneath the seat with no issues at all. Now, turning our attention towards the center, I'm also very pleasantly surprised to see the feature set that Jeep has thrown in, at least for this very high-end model. We're going to have vents, and that's pretty rare to see on anything, even on the highest-end models in the segment. If we drop below that, we have 2-stage heated rear seats, which is also very rare to see. That's optional on this Limited as well as the Trail trim levels. And then we also have a USB Type-C, a USB Type-A. If we drop below that, we also have a household-style outlet as well as a 12-volt outlet. So you should certainly be able to keep everything charged up, and that is going to be on the higher end Compass models. If we drop down the center armrest, we do have cup holders inside, and as far as your door storage, we have a nice bottle holder inside. Now, I'm sure you're probably seeing a trend here, but this is a fully loaded Compass, which means we're going to have pretty much all of our features. So we are going to have a hands-free power tailgate. So in order to open it up, you just wave your foot under the bumper, As you can see, it does open right up. Tailgate itself is just a tad bit slow. But as far as the space itself, back here we're looking at 27.2 cubic feet behind the second row seats. The seats do fold 60-40 split to further expand that out, and that's going to be 59.8 cubic feet as a maximum in this Compass model. Now, if you're comparing it to the Seltos and the Crosstrek, those are very good figures. It's above the Subaru Crosstrek. It's right on par with that of the Kia Seltos. So really you're looking at a lot of space, and depending on what you're comparing it to, this is really not that much smaller than the segment above. Now, let's talk about the finishings. We have lighting on both the left and right side. We also have a 12-volt outlet here on the left side. We have storage cubbies on the left and right, and then the floor is also configurable for this model. Now, most trims of the Compass will come with a 6-way manual adjusting seat. However, this fully loaded model actually has a power seat. I'm very surprised to see that. Most vehicles in the segment won't give you a power passenger seat at all. And then if we open up the glove box here, this is a good sized glove box. It's very square, but also very deep. So as you can see, our coupons, they don't fit horizontally, but we can fit them in there vertically. No problems whatsoever. Up top, we have a sun visor, we have lighting as well as a mirror. It's not LED though. If we do detach it, it does also have an extension in the end.
Okay, so now we're up to 60 miles per hour with this 2022 Compass. This category of vehicle, nothing is going to be fast, so I'm not going to say this is fast. It's definitely not fast.
Nope.
Yeah, that was the first acceleration we have done. And yeah, it's definitely not a very quick vehicle. But like I said, that's very common for this category of vehicle. And the camera's already gone. At least we got the first acceleration, though.
You're right. We are in the process of ordering a new GoPro.
That's
now,
right.
So we're just patching it together until that one.
It's being a horrible pain. Well, let me tell you the specs. 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, 177 horsepower and 172 pound-feet of torque. Let's discuss the transmissions. So you actually have two transmissions with the Compass. If you go with a front-wheel drive model, it's going to have a 6-speed automatic transmission. If you go with a 4-wheel drive model, you're going to have a 9-speed automatic transmission. For this refresh model, more of them are going to come standard with 4-wheel drive, including the limited trim level. So this one is always going to have the 9-speed automatic transmission. As far as the transmission itself, it is a little slow.
Yeah.
Driving it around, you can tell that it has a little bit of a hesitation or kind of unsure sometimes of when it wants to shift. But if you put your foot down, you can tell you will eventually get to where you need to be, and it will give you the right amount of power and stuff like that.
Yeah. And let's get our sound level reading here, going 55. So we're sitting at 60.5 decibels. It is very windy outside. We've actually done 2 Jeeps today, and both of them were a little bit higher than what I would have thought, just because I think it's a little windy, so we're getting a little bit of the wind noise. But as far as your ride quality and just overall comfort, you're really going to have a good experience with the Compass. This segment of vehicle is not known to be like the most comfortable, because it's one of the more basic models in the lineup. I'm really pleasantly surprised here. We have large wheels, it soaks up the bumps well, the seats are nice. I really have no complaints, and I think it is probably one of the best riding in the segment, although it is a little bit more expensive, so you do expect a little bit of a higher ride quality.
Let's go ahead and talk about today's slam dunk and airball. I think for me, the slam dunk has got to be this interior upgrade. Previously, before the refresh, this had a lot more basic and a definitely a lot less premium cabin. This has really been a big upgrade. You know, as far as the refresh goes, I do, of course, like the things that they've done to the outside, but this is where the real news is.
Yeah, and it's pretty nice. I mean, we do have the fully loaded Elite model, limited with the Elite package, but it is really nice, especially aesthetically. And then as far as our airball for the day, it's going to be the price. It is pretty pricey. So I'll go ahead and read off our sticker price for this particular model, because it is a little bit more than the competition, that is for sure. So this one, as equipped with the $1,595 destination, is coming in at $37,080, which, of course, that is very pricey for the segment. You know, this is a small vehicle, so it's really competing against stuff like the Crosstrek and Seltos, and even then, most of those top out around $30. So you're going to be paying a price premium for the more premium experience that you are getting here. And as far as the other pricing for the models, it's going to start at $26,020. There are, of course, more affordable trim levels, and then the Limited itself will start at $32,490.
Right, and within the Jeep lineup, this definitely remains one of the most affordable models when you choose at the lower end of the lineup, this and the Renegade.
Yeah. And then I also want to mention the fuel economy, since Drew went ahead and mentioned that you do have optional four-wheel drive, but it's really expanded availability, so most models would probably have four-wheel drive. You're going to be sitting at 25 miles a gallon combined for both that and the front drive model, so you're really not sacrificing anything in terms of fuel economy for going for four-wheel drive. And of course, it is also going to use regular fuel, excuse me, and auto start stop is also standard equipment.
But to conclude here, Jeep has really done a lot with this 2022 refresh. You know, when you think of a refresh, you think they're just going to change the bumper, change the headlights, something like that. But they've really gone a lot more than skin deep, and especially with this cabin, they've done a really excellent job.
Well, guys, that's all for our in-depth review of the 2022 refreshed Jeep Compass Limited. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Join our family. I promise you won't regret it. Also follow us on our other social medias such as TikTok and Instagram. They have a lot of other forms of content on there that I'm sure you also would love to see. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.